Okay, we're live. We're live, we're live, we're live. No, let's see. We can try this again. New girl in town. You know, technology, it's a learning curve. There we go. There we go. I'm live. Woo-woo. So how do I see the chat? I want to be able to see the chat. The chat. There we go. Okay. So hopefully if anybody messages me, I'll see the chat. Okay, so today we are going to be making gluten and dairy-free pizza and gluten and dairy-free brownies. Everything we make here is gluten and dairy-free. I'm sure you guys are well aware of that for those that follow me. And what are we going to start first? We're actually not going to make the pizza crust from scratch. We're going to use Bob's Red Mill pizza mix. So you're going to need a couple of eggs, a little bit of oil, little bit of sugar, 1.5 cups of warm water, 2 eggs, and 2 tablespoons of olive oil. Okay, so I guess I'm gonna need some tablespoons and some teaspoons that I didn't already get out. And we're gonna need to get some olive oil as well, and 2 eggs, which I do have out. Okay, so we are first, let's move the chat over so that I can still see. And of course, my glasses, I don't have my glasses to see far. I wonder if I should go grab a pair. Though the trouble with that is that then you also need reading glasses so that you can't see near to read your recipe. So, anyway, we will see what we can figure out. I don't know. That doesn't necessarily make me see myself any better, and it might actually give you a glare on my glasses. Anyway, we'll leave those there. So, going to get out a knife. You're gonna probably hear my kitties in the background. I got them some toy springs. So we have our yeast pack. So while this is rising, that it's going to take approximately 30 minutes to rise, we are going to be making some brownies. So now we're going to, okay, so we're going to put this in here. And we need a measuring cup. What should I do with the measuring cups? So it's supposed to be 110, huh? Oh, I broke my finger. Sad bee. So yeah, we need 1.5 cups of this warm water. I never saw. Okay, so I think that by experience is warm enough. So can you see this? Can you see this? So I usually add a hint of sugar. I'm gonna add a hint of sugar. A spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down. Medicine go down. Medicine go down. Okay, so we're gonna add a little bit of sugar because that will help. seams, I also need scissors because let's try not to stab myself. We're going to add the yeast. So I usually add a little bit of sugar to the warm water because it feeds the yeast. So I'm going to let that sit aside. Put this in the garbage. And then we're going to add 2 tablespoons of olive oil. Let's hope we have 2 tablespoons left. 1 ringy dingy. For those of you that are older would get that reference. 2 ringy dingies. So there we go. 2 tablespoons of olive oil and 2 large eggs. I think in the age of COVID, everybody's a little, so we'll see if you can see how, if the yeast is bubbling and it's being fed by the warm sugar water. Not sure if you can see how it's foaming up there. So we're going to let it sit for a few minutes and then we're going to add it to our, we'll add it to our pizza mix. So if you happen to be in a little bit of a hurry, highly recommend Bob's, or you want to not make your pizza dough from scratch. I personally love Bob's Red Mill pizza mix, though we will be making the brownies from scratch. And a really nice vegan butter icing as well. So. Okay, so we're going to add a little water and our yeast. It says to add 1.5 cups. I do sometimes find 1.5 cups is a little bit too much and that it leaves the pizza dough very sticky. So you can always add a little bit of flour to your hands. So I am going to now with this pizza dough, we like our crust a little bit thinner. So I'm going to be dividing this in 2 and making 2 pizzas. We're going to be making them ham and pineapple. So we'll put this in the water. Got a sink of water on the go to do my dishes. So I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit of this. So my suggestion would be, starting out, is to add like a cup of water, because I really think the recipe calls more for a cup and a quarter rather than a cup and a half, in my experience. You hear the kitties running around chasing the springs. Hopefully that's not too loud for you, y'all, to still hear me. I don't have my lavalier mic on today, but hopefully you can still hear me. So, going to make that into like a bread. We're going to divide it into half. Going to take this bowl, line it with a little bit of flour. Going to take one ball, set it in there. 2 balls and set it in there. Now one is slightly bigger than the other because I've got one pan that's 9 by 13 that we're gonna, and the other is a round pizza pan. So I'm going to take this over here. First I've got to rinse off my hands because they're full of flour and dough. And dry it over here. Okay, so we're then going to put a towel over this, and I'm actually going to put it in the oven for, just because it's a warm space, for it to rise. So we're going to leave that sit in there to warm up approximately a half an hour. Approximately a half an hour. So then we're going to dice up our veggies for our pizza, and then also make some brownies. So we shall dry off our mash. So I will also list from my Amazon store links into any of the items that I'm using here today, so that if you want to recreate this pizza and brownies, that you can. Okay, so where are we going now? Now I'm going to need another bowl. Probably there. This one will be fine, and it's clear so that you can see what's going. Actually, no. I'm not going to make brownies first. Yeah, we'll make brownies first, so that they can cook in the oven. So we're going to add first all of our wet ingredients, then we're going to add in our dry ingredients. We're going to grease an 8 by 8 pan. I don't know. Actually, you know what I'm going to try today? I am going to try these little muffin tins and to make 1 bite brownies. But obviously I wasn't organized enough to have my pans dry. So while they're drying, if anybody in chat happens to have any questions, shoot. Send them my way. It is finally getting to be spring here. So yeah, so we're going to use these little mini muffin tins, and we're going to try and successfully make 1 bite brownies. We are going to grease them with some olive oil spray so that they will easily pop out. And then I'm also going to be making some vegan butter icing and maybe some sprinkles on top, all the accoutrement, and we'll see how things go. There. So we have dried. Put that back here. Got one for my hands and one